Present to you for induction, Charlie LaDuca.
Thank you, everybody. I would like to start with thank yous. And the first is Bill Schrader, who nominated me for this great honor. I really miss Bill. He was an amazing personality. We had many conversations about baseball and life. And finally, and unfortunately, I get the last word on Bill. And that is, Bill, it's not a balk unless the umpire calls it a balk. I want to thank the committee for believing I was worthy of this honor. When I look at the list of people that have been inducted, it's truly humbling because they've accomplished so many great things, and I'm just happy to have a name that's listed with them. I'd like to thank a couple fellow coaches, Justin Fish, who is my assistant coach at Pine Valley. I was very particular about coaches. He's the only one I ever had as an assistant, and he's a big reason why we won the state championship. I'd also like to thank Vince Gullo for allowing me to coach at Fredonia and to interact with so many people, so many great athletes. These young guys just really keep you young and keep you active, and I just feel very honored to be a part of that and for being a part of another state championship. The players I've coached, I need to thank them. If my record was 25 and 350, I probably wouldn't be up here today. Some of my teammates are here from the Jamestown Old Timers and the Pro Bats Yankees. Of course, thanking my family, who, as all of us coaches, put them through a lot of time away from home. My daughters, Laura and Lindsay, for their inspiration, and I'm so proud of what they've become, and every bit as important for the grandchildren they've provided us. My son-in-laws, Kyle and AJ, are here. I've had the opportunity to play baseball with them. My mom and dad, who instilled everything in me, needed to stand before you today. And of course, my wife, Ann, for somehow accepting my addiction to baseball and putting up with all the nonsense I've put her through to coach and play. She's a big reason, again, as to why I'm here today. But I'm really here because of every single person I've met along the way along this journey. Every single one played a role. Once I received the call from Russ Eklund, I began a period of reflection. What was it about the game of baseball that had such a hold on me? My dad never played organized baseball, but he loved the game. And I have fond memories of being at Offerman Stadium in Buffalo and watching the Buffalo Bisons, game after game, sitting through doubleheaders, eating peanuts. Just a memory I'll never forget. His older brother, my Uncle Art, was actually drafted by the Boston Braves as a pitcher. So there is pitching in my background. He chose not to pitch because his mother wanted him to become a priest. And so he became a priest. He chose saving souls, and I chose saving games because really, what's more important? Growing up, we played baseball almost every day in the summer. We rarely had 18 players, but we picked teams by putting our hands on a bat, one hand over the other, and then we had an invisible runners. Right field was an automatic out, and it rarely stopped us from playing. We umped our own games. If we had a dispute, we did a do-over. And they say that if you want to see a true baseball game, throw out a bat and a ball to a bunch of kids and just walk away. And I really think that those days were baseball at its best. In 1992, at the age of 41, 3 of us from Fredonia joined an adult league in Buffalo. We played several games at Lincoln Park, where I grew up playing ball as a kid. So at 41 years old, I'm on the mound pitching with my mother and father in the bleachers. Very strange experience. I truly believe sports is the greatest learning laboratory of all. It's the perfect setting to mold young lives. Baseball is filled with teachable moments. As a player, the opportunity to learn about yourself. As a coach, the opportunity to teach life lessons to your players. That is what always excited me the most about baseball. So what is the draw that keeps me playing after all these years? I've always been very competitive and love a challenge, and certainly baseball gives me all that I can handle. Failure is built into the game of baseball like no other sport. Get a hit 3 out of 10 times and you're in the Hall of Fame. If you make 3 out of 10 field goals, you're in the Hall of Shame. Save 3 of 10 shots as a goalie and you're unemployed. Make 3 of 10 free throws, well, you're in the Hall of Fame, but that doesn't make it right. Thank you. On the ball field, there's nowhere to hide. You're exposed for all to see. hero or GOAT. Yet as in life, you're not really alone. You have a coach and teammates to pick you up when you fall. The game is not always fair. A bad bounce, a bad call, an injury, a hard-hit line drive with the bases loaded right at a fielder to end the game. There's no time limit. You can't sit on the ball and run out the clock. You have to give the other guy his chance. And isn't that what we all want, just a chance? So you work your butt off and you control what you can control, accept what comes along, and move on. We all have to look in the mirror at the end of the season and ask ourselves if we did everything we could personally to be successful. If the answer is yes, we had a successful season. We were not defined by the scoreboard. My litmus test at the end of every season was very simple. Based on the players we had, did we overachieve or underachieve? A pretty solid recipe for life. Did we use our God-given talents or not? I was fortunate enough to play with many ex-major leaguers as I competed in tournaments around the country. A couple of the more memorable were Bill Spaceman Lee, Jerry Royce, and Jim Bouton. Pitching with those guys is something I'll never forget. We had many long conversations about baseball. I brought what I learned from them to my high school team and can confidently say it's what took us over the top. The first lesson I learned was they never made excuses. They never blamed the weather, the umpires, or bad bounces. Their philosophy is that that was every bit as much a part of the game as the foul lines, just part of the game. Secondly, and most importantly, was their mental approach to the game. Their ability to play the game one pitch at a time was what separated them from all of us amateurs. Whether they threw their best curveball to strike out the number 4 batter or made a mistake to the number 9 hitter and gave up a home run, the next pitch was all that mattered. Always in the present. So easy to say and so hard to do. Eventually, I discovered these were life lessons: responsibility for actions, the ability to bounce back from defeat, and playing the game one pitch at a time. Life is about one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. Far and away, the best part of my baseball career is the friends I've made along the way. Hundreds of teammates and players I've coached, as well as fellow coaches, and it's become one big baseball family that spans geography and time. The players, friends, and coaches who had offered up congratulations for receiving this honor has truly overwhelmed me. So why do I continue to play now that my skills have eroded? It's all about the people now. The camaraderie is what fuels me. And I hear the haters. It won't be funny when you can't walk in a couple years. I have 2 words for you: wheelchair league. It's going to happen. Honestly, I am getting closer to retirement. As much as I love baseball, my family has become more addicting. I'm so blessed. Life without baseball is going to be amazing because of them. In the end, I don't want to be judged by my win-loss record, but rather by the type of people my athletes have become. Are they good sons, husbands, fathers, citizens? Have they generated more of the same? In closing, I'd like to encourage everyone here to challenge yourself. Be a competitor, never fear failure, live one day at a time, and make somebody's life a little bit better. There's 2 quotes I would like to share. Life will always throw you curves. Just keep fouling them off. The right pitch will come, and when it does, be prepared to run the bases. And finally, a favorite quote by Jim Bouton: I've spent a good piece of my life gripping a baseball, and in the end, it turns out that it was the other way around all along. Thank you.
Stay here and get your congratulations.